Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in the atmosphere. It is Jay here, your accountability coach and ghetto psychologist. It is my life's purpose to help black people navigate this patriarchal system of white supremacy. I'm sorry, my nose is a little itchy. That's why I'm sounding a little nasally. I just sneezed a whole bunch of times. This one is really not going to be that long. I wanted to make this video as a message to myself, but also just to the universe, so that I could just stay planted, stay grounded, stay focused on what I am sure is my divine path. The first thing Spirit just told me to tell you about is just the call of Jesus. I don't know why it was supposed to be said that way, the call of Jesus. And the reason I'm gonna say the call of Jesus, let me talk about my relationship with Jesus first, because this video is going to be about Jay, okay? And you're going to still be able to find pieces of advice and things for yourself. So take what resonates and leave the rest. You cannot be upset when people talk about themselves on their channels. I know a lot of y'all want people to talk about other people, but I'm talking about me, right? Because essentially, if you are lucky enough to be a part of this journey that I know where the destination is, you might not know where my destination is. It's not your job to know. But if you are going to be a part of this journey, even if you're just watching this one video, there's going to be a time one day where you wake up and you see Jay and she's different. That is why I have to make this video. Again, it's like a calling. So we're going to talk about the call of Jesus, and I'm going to relate it to myself. Yes, I am. My relationship with Jesus is very complex because I never experienced church hurt, but I always questioned religion. It never felt right to me how divisive it was. It never felt right to me that in my generation growing up, the history we learned was the true history. It just was not as deep as it could have gone, because we already knew what the Crusades was when I was a teenager. I knew that there were holy wars to get people to convert to Christianity. How is it that you have to kill people in order to get them to follow your God? Anywho, so when it comes to Jesus, I didn't trust him. I didn't trust him because he was a white man. They made us think he was. I didn't trust him because, again, religion just didn't seem right to me. And I also didn't trust him because as much as we was going to church when I was growing up, I still didn't really know him. I had to find Jesus outside the church. And the way that I found Jesus, just to make a long story short, honestly, I feel like I started to find Jesus for real in my Jesus year when I was 33, which is 3 years ago, when I really started to understand what he stood for. And it was not what people are making it, or people's making it to be right now. The division, the condemnation that people are tongue tied, but it's retrograde. That's why my tongue did that. But the condemnation that people are always projecting onto people. This is what people want you to think Christianity is all about. Just obtaining favor from the Lord so that you can be better than everybody and be in this proverbial hierarchy on top, looking down at the peasants and just praying for them and maybe throwing scraps every now and then to try to help pull them up. That's what Christianity feels like to me, especially in the black community. I don't like it. So I questioned everything. I was always a free thinker. And I was always a rebel. And there was a time in my life I don't remember. I think I was just mad at God. This was after I found God, but because I found God at 10 years old. But it was a time after that I really was just saying things in my head and just being a rebel, right? Just testing the waters, just saying, if I act like this, will God be mad at me or will I be punished? You know, just being stupid. So at that moment, I didn't realize I was young, but looking back on it, when I got older, I realized I was acting out. I was mad because of some of the things that were going on in my life, and I blamed God about it. I blamed God for it. So, anywho, 2016, I experienced my spiritual awakening, and I just decided from then on there I didn't want to really be labeled as anything. Just know that I believe in God. I believe in a higher power. I appreciate all religions, but I also question all things. So I was like, I'm not a Christian anymore. And I stood by that. But I had still a negative emotion attached to Christianity and being a Christian. So fast forward, like I said, that was 2016. Fast forward 3 years ago, which was 2022. So 6 years after that, after all of the intense elevation that I experienced within that time frame, I started to find my way back to Jesus. But I don't claim to be a Christian. I do still feel like I have a closer relationship to Jesus and the Creator than the average Christian does. This is me. I might be wrong, but I just feel like that. I can feel like however I want to. No disrespect to anybody else. But my relationship with Christ is different now because I look at it as, even if Jesus did not exist, right? Because let's even entertain that he didn't. We don't know. None of us was alive. But to entertain that he did not exist, right? Does it make his story that less impactful? Is it any different than any other great fiction story you've heard about people fighting a good fight and overcoming adversity or being martyrs and dying for a huge cause? Does it make the story that much different? And also, I asked this question too. Does it make the story that much different if we found out that Jesus really was not the true Son of God? Would it make the story that much less impactful, meaningful? For me, it doesn't. And if it does for you, then I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to tell you, because we have to, this is going to sound so pessimistic, but it's really real. We have to walk through this earth thinking that everything we've been told is a lie. Because at any moment it can change. The truth can change. Facts rarely change, but the truth can change. Some people ain't gonna understand that, so I'm not even gonna further explain it. But I have been able to gain such a greater appreciation for who Jesus was, or at least the type of person, that his story represents. And it's so easy in my mind now to mirror my life after that, because it's not even me mirroring, because I don't have to do that. I don't have to try to live like him. I don't have to, when it's been naturally occurring. When I'm not as weak in my flesh, when I'm not afraid to speak out and have conflict with people who are just being wrong and being immoral and being evil. I don't feel bad about any of that. I don't feel bad about shaking the fucking table. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel bad about it. And Jesus represented that. And what we as people don't even understand is if Jesus came back today as he was, different body, different whatever, we really don't know what he looked like anyway, because they done told you, like I said, he was a white man, and we know he was not. Regardless if he wasn't a black man, even if he was an Arab descent or whatever, he still had brown skin. Okay. But if he were to come back, nobody would recognize him because y'all would think he's crazy. Y'all would be upset with him like y'all are upset with people like I can't say me because I'm not big, but people be upset with the things that I say. Like people be upset with the things that 𝐸𝐇𝐎 says. With I'm just gonna name some people that I know are a little controversial, but I rock with what they be saying because it's true. It goes against the masses, but the masses is why we're like this. It goes to show you, right, when people do speak out, when they are an embodiment of Christ consciousness, right? People don't like them. And it makes you understand why people didn't like Jesus. When people want to unify others, and I have to deal with this, and this is probably a message to myself God just told me. When people see you, and certain type of people, I'm not going to say on record, y'all know, if you know, you know. When people see you are working to unify people, they want to destroy you. Because they know that unification destroys this system. This system thrives on separation. It thrives on suffering. Unification results in utopias. Utopias are not based on hierarchies. There's no one in power in a utopia. Everybody is self-governed, self-sovereign. They don't want that because they want to control you. They want your pain. They want your suffering. Because they also know that costs you money. So when people hear that you are Jesus light, because you don't hate anybody, but you hold people accountable, you have to be careful. You got to protect yourself. And you got to know what comes with the territory. Because you're going to be a martyr. You might not be the martyr that actually dies physically because of what you represent, but there's going to have to be some kind of death that happens to where you feel so defeated, but you know that this is ultimately, it's a part of the journey. It's so lonely. Not only is it lonely, it's scary, and it's I don't know how to describe it. You know, having this calling on my life, like I said, I'm relating it back to me now. Having this calling on my life where I've been knowing since very early long time ago, young age, that I was meant here to spark some kind of change, to try to learn how to figure people out, not to hurt them, but to help them. And I just always felt like I had to save the world. And I didn't like that feeling because it was like, girl, you know, if you ever seen The Secret Life of Bees, and I can't remember her name, but it was the empath sister. If you know, you know too. The sister who just felt everything. It was a part of my life where I just felt everything. And the weight of the world being on your shoulders as an empath, as somebody who is I guess a light bearer, a light worker, a light seeker. You know what I'm saying? When you are that person And the weight of the world is on your shoulders, on your chest, literally just fucking up your heart chakra. It can be too much. And it makes me sad when I think about Jesus again. If Jesus really was a real person, I know he was going through some real terrible pain because he really couldn't trust anybody. And he saw things, of course, because when you have the anointing of God on you, you see things. Like, I'm at a point in my life where I'm finishing people's sentences. I'm picking up what people are putting down. I'm not correcting some people about certain things. I'm choosing my battles very wisely. But I see people now. And I can't ignore what I see. I can't. It's painful for me to do that. And I know it'll cause me pain if I ignore it. Because this person is going to do something. I don't know what, but they're going to do something to either piss me off or to hurt me or, So, what I intend to do, and I'm going to end this on this note, what I intend to do with this calling of mine, I have no choice but to want to embrace and envelop my people in love and try to unify us, because we really have no choice right now. This is the time. This is the Civil Rights Movement 2.0 coming up. You might not believe it, but the pattern is here. We're moving backwards. And these people think we pussy. They think we won't do shit. They think that we're too passive. Because history has taught them that black people are passive. I talk about this in my upcoming book. Just the nature of black people and the pros and cons of it. But we can't be passive. We can't. We have to invoke that warrior spirit that our ancestors had. The same people who used to go to diners that would not allow colored people to be in there and would just sit there and get hot coffee thrown in their face and get spat on and get plates and forks and knives thrown at them, the warrior spirit. We have to have that. Don't let segregation completely ruin us. And some people might think it's too late, but it's not. If these people are thinking about bringing segregation back, I need for y'all to understand what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it were to happen, they're going to push us out. And what that's going to mean is we are going to have to rally together with the resources that we do have. Because they can't push us out everywhere. All right? And not only that, there's going to be a natural division amongst us. And there's also going to be a natural rise of the leaders. You got to understand what leadership's going to look like, too. It's going to be different types of leaders, different areas of leadership. You're going to have the people who are going to be the physical bronze people who are going to actually physically fight. Because it will be wartime at that point. If they try to push us out and take all of our resources, because that's what they could do if they decide, oh, let's bring segregation back. So that means we can't bank with some of these banks. They're not going to let us live in some of those neighborhoods. You might be able to keep your car. Ooh, school. Which is why I don't think it's going to happen, but you have to think about if it were. They will push us out. Yeah, you're going to have some businesses that's going to be like, we want that black dollar. I don't give a fuck what they talking about, right? But there's gonna be some businesses who just waiting ready, and that's their loss. So anyway, but yeah, what I intend to do, that as just to end for real. This is a movement. This is a movement that was laid on my chest by God within the last year, maybe even 6 months. I don't know. I can't really keep up. Well, we'll just say, yeah, the whole 2025 has been made clear to me through the Creator that I am an advocate. I am an activist. I like to hold people accountable, including myself. And I like to help people become the best version of themselves. I like to bring people together. This is what I'm meant to do. And I'm meant to do it through, yes, these talking head videos, yes, through oration, but specifically through writing, through literature. I can say as much as I want to say in the ways that I want to say it through a book. That's my talent. I've been writing since I was 11 years old. So if watching me is difficult for some people, which I mean, everybody can't watch everybody. But if you still agree with the sentiments, it might be better for you to go look at my blogs, go read some of my other works that I've done. I've done nonfiction, fiction. It's all going to be in the description box. So my intention, Black people especially, and it's not to say I don't believe that everybody needs to be unified. I think we do, but Black people, we know where we fall in life. We know how white supremacy is in conjunction with anti-Blackness, and the world is white supremacist. It's full of white supremacists, which means it's full of anti-Blackness, full of people who are anti-Black. We need each other. And we have to learn to show these people that we can stand up to them. Not that we can survive anything, because at this point they know we can survive anything. We got to show them that we can stand up to them. It's time. And standing up is not always a physical fight. But likely going to end up like that, because that's just the way of humans. That's just the way of the world, sadly. And being realistic. But they have to just know. We know Palm Beach. No. But anywho, I hope this reaches who it needs to reach. If you fuck with my campaign, please make sure that you go and check out all the things that I'm doing. Check out past work. Check out my website. Check out my link tree. Check out my blog. Just check me out, y'all. And just fuck with your girl. Fuck with a little small girl like me. I'm not really small. I'm like 5'7" almost. But no, fuck with a girl. A little humble. I'm not humble either. I'm just saying shit now. So wait on that. That means it's time to go. I love you guys.